you've got the American system. This is a slap in the face for capitalism, right? For consumer capitalism. The American economy contracts fairly rapidly, as you can tell from those stats that we just gave. So there's a huge knock-on effect to all of this, particularly across the Atlantic in Europe, and particularly in Central Europe, where you've got like the German, Austrian economies, which had been struggling along through the 1920s, very often hamstrung by the economic and political consequences of the First World War, and they're just getting back on their feet by the late 1920s, largely due to American loans. And of course, as soon as American banks start suffering in 1929 and start in many cases collapsing, those that are suffering withdraw those loans. There aren't any more loans forthcoming from the Americans, so you get there's the old thing about America sneezing and Europe catches a cold. This happens with bells on in 1929. That collapses in 1931, and that brings all of that economic pain to Central Europe. Felt particularly hard in Germany, where you've got that really strong deflationary cycle. Businesses are going bust, massive unemployment, banks are failing, and there's very little in the way of a sort of a social net. So this very quickly has obviously an economic effect, feeds into politics as well. You've got a radicalization of politics. But you've got very rapidly 1931, 32, German unemployment goes to 6 million, which is huge and really unprecedented. And that the rise in unemployment in Germany almost directly mirrors the rise in support for the Nazi Party. So it's very easy to make that case that economic hardship results in this political radicalization. So, for the Nazis particularly, in 1928, the year before the Wall Street crash, in the national elections in Germany, they get 2.6% of the vote for the Nazis, right? They're a fringe party. By 1930, and this is, bear in mind, before the real worst effects of the crash had been felt, they're up at 18% already. By 1932, they're at 37.4%. So it directly mirrors the progress of that economic crash.
Yeah, it's extraordinary seeing it laid out like that with those figures.